My mother had 3 children, a boy, a girl, and the devil. I grew up somewhere too rural to even be called charming anymore. My mother fled there from my little brother's father when she got pregnant. None of us kids were fathered by the same person, and I for one never met the man she had me with. Her third baby was born in a crummy trailer parked in the middle of nowhere with nothing but dirt and dust around. I don't know how she made it through the birth with no one but 2 frightened children to assist her. My big brother says I was too little, but I swear I can remember hearing her scream to this day. Benjamin is my half-brother, but it's not like that ever made me see him in a different light. He's my big brother and we've always been close. Ben and I are 5 years apart. I don't know how old we were exactly when our mom died, but we still live in that trailer of hers. It's just standing somewhere else now. For a long time, I didn't know where our younger sibling was either. Neither my brother nor I were keen on finding out. I guess we'd assumed his father had collected him after mom had left him in the woods and ran off with us. We thought we'd never see him again. It's been over 15 years since it happened. We hadn't expected him to ever come back to us. Yesterday night, Ben and I were sitting in the trailer, going through my material together. I was preparing for the job interview I had scheduled for the following morning and very much stressing out over it. Ben had to remind me not to pull on the hairs on my arm every few seconds. It's what I do when I'm nervous. If we had the time, I'd make you get your arms waxed, he threatened me. It was then that we heard the first scream. It came from outside, somewhere behind the tree line. I winced at the sound. It was high-pitched and loud. I think if someone had been to skin a live animal, it wouldn't have sounded any different. Ben wasn't as fazed as me. He just shrugged and told me it was probably a fox in heat. You've heard them screech before, always spooked you, he told me. They shouldn't be around until January though, should they? I asked. What do I know? Maybe this one's early. Who cares? It's nothing. Keep reading. I grumbled a little but looked down at my papers again. Until the next scream followed. I jerked my head up, and more determined this time, I said, that is not a fox. Ben sighed deeply. You want me to take a look? I nodded and he grabbed his shotgun and opened the flimsy trailer door. It was dark outside. He didn't seem to need a flashlight though. My brother is a big guy, over 6 foot tall and very heavy. We don't talk about how he makes money, but I suspect he and his buddies moonshine and sell it under the table. I try not to think of how risky that is for him and his customers. I hope they're at least careful and that the stuff they brew doesn't make people who drink it go blind or anything. There's not much I can do to stop him, even though I'd really like to. I also think that his father looks out for him in secret and maybe gives him money from time to time. I've never met Ben's dad and I don't want to. From what I've heard, he's no good, which is also why my big brother has always made an effort to keep me from ever encountering him. The one thing I'm sure of is that Ben will always be able to protect himself and me. People don't usually mess with him. I pulled my jacket from the back of my chair and put it on, trying to fight the cold air coming in through the open door. I sat and stared out into the darkness, waiting for Ben to return. Part of me expected to hear the sound of the shotgun being fired, or maybe another one of those screams. All remained silent though. Eventually, I stood up and walked over to peer outside, just as Ben came in. He almost ran right over me. I backed off and he shut the door, putting the chain in place before sitting down. There's nothing there, he told me in a calm voice. Still, I couldn't help but notice that he was keeping his shotgun close. A deep frown was creasing his forehead. Something wasn't right. I slowly sat back down and glanced up at him once or twice before finally focusing on preparing for the interview again. When the screeching started up again though, I knew I wouldn't be able to concentrate for much longer. I put my papers aside and got up, informing my brother that I was going to turn in for the night. He was barely listening. Instead, he kept staring at the door with that same frown on his face. He looked like some kind of statue and hardly appeared to register what I was saying. I was concerned, sure, but fatigue outweighed my worries and I disappeared behind the screen dividing the bedroom from the rest of the trailer to change clothes and lay down. Ben sleeps on a smaller mattress on the floor most of the time. He says it's important for me to take the actual bed because of how soft I am. At least he allowed me to give him the warmer blanket. I want him to get better rest and I know it helps. We have a bunch of cheap thin blankets which I always place on top of one another to use for myself. I crawled underneath them and shut my eyes, trying to ignore the unnerving screams that kept coming from the woods in unsteady intervals. It was cold too, but the cold helped me fall asleep. I woke up because of a weight pressing down on my back. I was lying on my stomach with my face buried in the pillows. How I managed to even breathe was beyond me. Either way, someone was sitting on my back. They were heavy, but not heavy enough to be my brother. I knew if he'd been the one sitting on me, I wouldn't have survived to wake up in the first place. They were emanating a smell of manure and wet fur, strong enough for me to stifle a gag. I had this sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach, like I was in the process of realizing the danger I was in but not quite there yet. My heart was pounding in my chest and my mind was racing, but I didn't dare to move. I tried to keep my breathing steady despite me having broken into cold sweat already. I shut my eyes, attempting to relax my whole body just so I'd stop trembling. Where was my brother? Where was Benjamin? That's the only thing I could think of. I knew whoever was on top of me had to have gotten past him to get to me. He was a light sleeper. He would never let anyone simply get inside like that. Bit by bit, the memories of the previous evening came trickling back in. What time was it? 1 or 2 in the morning maybe? I was just lying there, listening to this person's slow raspy breaths. Until they suddenly started vocalizing. It was like they were putting sound into their breathing, the result being a low hoarse growl. I winced, gripping the bedsheets with the hand that was hidden beneath the blankets. The breathing hitched and the weight on my back shifted. I pressed my eyes shut even tighter and tensed up, attempting to mask my shaking. Then, suddenly, I felt something graze my neck. It felt like bristles, mixed with hot reeking air hitting my skin. "Hello, big sister." The voice came out mangled and distorted, like somebody playing a recording of somebody talking in reverse. I felt a sharp yank on my hair as he pulled me off the bed. I landed on the floor, the impact knocking the air out of me. I had played dead for long enough. I flung myself onto my back and kicked blindly into the air, my naked foot meeting with something warm and soft and furry. I had hit his belly. This didn't stop him for too long though, as I felt his hand in my hair again, gripping it and forcing me to sit up. Not knowing what else to do, I screamed my older brother's name. "Look at me," the creature above me hissed, right before slapping me in the face. "What do you want?" I whimpered. In the sparse light of the trailer, I couldn't quite see him. I did make out his silhouette though. Tall and broad, with something large and warped on top of his head. It didn't look right. I tried to remember his appearance from when he was only a baby, but my head was empty. Maybe I really had been too little. Instead of responding, he wrapped his arms around my chest and picked me up, dragging me out the door. I struggled and flailed around, trying to hold on to anything I could reach, but eventually giving up and letting him throw me into the dirt outside. "What do you want?" I repeated, tears in my eyes. "You left me to die," he growled. "What?" I whined. What were we supposed to do? We were kids. I was a toddler. It was Mom who... My voice broke off again. "Can you blame her? She couldn't have... You left me to die. You could have stopped her," he shouted. In the light of the full moon, I could finally see him clearly. He looked even worse than what I'd imagined.